Imagine a boy walking into school every day with his face hidden. The whispers, the laughter, the insults. Marcus endured it all. But what if the truth behind it was more shocking than anyone could have imagined? It's about a jaw-dropping revelation that left everyone speechless. Get ready for a tale that proves you should never judge someone by what you see. Marcus, a 22-year-old billionaire son, walked nervously into his college. His helmet, large and reflective, covered his entire face. As he stepped into the classroom, silence fell. All eyes turned to him, their expressions ranging from confusion to amusement. The whispers started almost immediately. "When was you wearing a helmet in class?" a boy asked, loud enough for Marcus to hear. "Maybe he's got something to hide," a girl added, smirking. "Or maybe he's just ugly," another chimed in, sparking a wave of laughter. Marcus felt the sting of their words, but said nothing. He quietly sat at the back of the room, his helmet hiding the tightness in his jaw. The teacher entered and began the lesson, yet Marcus couldn't focus. He could still feel their eyes on him and hear the occasional snicker. As the school day ended, Marcus walked toward the parking lot. His head was low, his helmet reflecting the afternoon sun. He wanted to escape the whispers and avoid further confrontation. "Hey, helmet guy," a voice called out. He turned to see Flora, a classmate who had been one of the loudest during the earlier taunts. She leaned against a sleek, expensive Benz, her designer outfit glinting as brightly as her car. "I know why you wear that helmet," she sneered, crossing her arms. "You're poor and probably ugly. That's why you don't want anyone to see your face." Marcus stopped and looked at her calmly. "You should learn some humility. Life isn't all about money and appearances." Flora scoffed, rolling her eyes, but before she could retort, the growl of an engine caught her attention. A gleaming luxury car pulled into the lot and stopped beside Marcus. The chauffeur stepped out, opening the door. "Come on, son," the man inside said, his voice calm yet commanding. Marcus entered the car without a word. Flora stood frozen in shock, her jaw dropping. His father," she whispered to herself. As the car sped off, Marcus sat silently beside his father. After a moment, his father broke the silence. "Son, have you found someone you love yet?" he asked, his tone heavy with concern. Marcus sighed. "Dad, no one at school even likes me. They all bully me." His father looked at him with sorrowful eyes. "I don't have much time, Marcus. This cancer is taking me faster than I expected. The doctor says I have only a month left." "Dad," Marcus's voice faltered. "Listen to me," his father continued. "If you don't marry, the board won't approve you as CEO. They'll claim you're irresponsible, and you know they won't allow your sister to take over." Marcus clenched his fists. "I'm trying, Dad, but it's not that simple." His father sighed deeply. "What if I help you find someone? There's a girl. Her father is one of my business partners. I think you'll like her." Marcus hesitated, but eventually nodded. "Okay, Dad. If it makes things easier, I'll meet her." The next day, Marcus's father arranged a formal dinner and invited the girl's family. Marcus was nervous, but decided to show up without his helmet for the first time in a while. He knew this dinner was important and wanted to make a good impression. As the guests arrived and everyone was seated, Marcus stepped into the dining room. His eyes widened when he saw the girl sitting across the table. It was Flora, the same girl who had been bullying him at school. Flora, on the other hand, didn't recognize Marcus. Without his helmet, he looked completely different, confident and awesome. "Wow," she said softly, almost to herself. "He's awesome. I like him." But Marcus wasn't feeling flattered. He turned abruptly and left the room, heading to his bedroom. His father quickly followed, closing the door behind him. "What's wrong, Marcus?" his father asked. Marcus shook his head. "Dad, I can't do this. I don't like her." "Why not?" his father pressed. "Son, we don't have much time. You need to marry soon to secure your position as CEO of the company. If you don't, someone else on the board will take over, and you know they won't approve of your sister as CEO. Marcus sighed. Dad, I need more time to find someone I actually love. Please, don't force this on me. His father looked at him for a long moment before nodding. Okay, Marcus, if time is what you need, I'll give you a week. But remember, I'm running out of time, so please be fast. Reluctantly, Marcus agreed. Back at the table, Flora was trying to make small talk with Marcus's father, but her condescending tone hadn't changed. When Marcus returned, she smirked. I guess you're too shy to sit with me, she said mockingly. Marcus ignored her, plugging in his headphones to listen to music instead. Flora, annoyed by his indifference, eventually stopped talking and left. The following morning, Marcus woke up determined. He had a week to find someone who would love him for who he truly was, not for the wealth his family possessed. He decided to focus on school, though he knew the ridicule he faced there wouldn't make it easy. As Marcus entered the school building, students turned to look at him, some whispering and laughing. Flora was among them. Spotting Marcus from across the hall, she smirked and sauntered over with her usual arrogance. Hey, helmet guy! Flora called out loudly, ensuring the entire hallway turned their attention to Marcus. Marcus paused, knowing she was addressing him but choosing not to respond. He adjusted his backpack and continued walking to his locker. Flora wasn't deterred. She walked right up to him, crossing her arms. What's your deal, huh? Are you hiding something under that helmet, or are you just too ugly to show your face? Marcus sighed, still silent. Oh, I know, Flora said mockingly. You're wearing it because you don't want anyone to know you're ugly and pathetic. Just admit it. Marcus stopped and turned to her, his voice calm but firm. You really need to learn how to respect people, Flora. But Flora wasn't done. Respect? From me? Please, let me guess, you're some nobody who thinks he's too cool for the rest of us. She reached out suddenly, and before Marcus could stop her, Flora pulled off Marcus's helmet. The hallway went silent. Flora froze, her eyes wide as she stared at Marcus. Wait, what? Marcus? She stammered, her voice full of disbelief. The other students around them gasped. The shy, helmet-wearing boy they had all teased and mocked turned out to be incredibly handsome. Oh my gosh, it's you! Flora exclaimed, still in shock. The silence quickly broke into chaos as girls began to crowd around Marcus, their phones out. He's so cute, one girl squealed. Marcus, can I take a picture with you? Another asked. I can't believe it. He's been hiding under that helmet this whole time. Flora stood frozen, processing the revelation. The boy she had mocked relentlessly for being poor and unattractive turned out to be the same person she had admired at dinner the night before. Phones were out, and cameras clicked as students scrambled to take pictures of him. Marcus felt overwhelmed by the sudden attention. He grabbed his helmet and ran. Marcus ran into a quiet art classroom where a girl sat sketching by herself. She looked up, surprised by his entrance. Are they chasing you too? She joked, setting her pencil down. Marcus chuckled nervously. You could say that. The girl smiled warmly. I'm Sophia, she said, holding out her hand. Marcus, he replied, shaking her hand. Sophia seemed calm, unlike the others at school. Her desk was covered in sketches, each one more impressive than the last. Why do you like drawing so much? Marcus asked, genuinely curious. It helps me remember things, she replied. And it lets me see the world the way I want it to be, not the way it is. Marcus admired her sincerity. He found himself opening up to her in a way he hadn't with anyone else. Do you have plans after school? He asked hesitantly. Sophia tilted her head. Not really. Why? Would you like to grab dinner with me? Sophia smiled. Sure. That evening they went to a quiet cafe. Marcus learned about Sophia's life. Her father worked as a janitor and her mother was a storekeeper. Despite her modest background, she spoke with hope and intelligence. For the first time in a long while, Marcus felt at ease. He realized he didn't need a week to know that Sophia was the one. The next day, Marcus woke up with a sense of purpose. He had found someone he genuinely liked, Sophia. Now came the challenge, introducing her to his father. The memory of his father's harsh reaction to Sophia's modest background lingered in his mind, but at school, Marcus caught up with Sophia during her free period. "Sophia, would you be open to meeting my family tonight?" he asked. Sophia hesitated. "Are you sure? I don't think your father would like me much. I'm not exactly wealthy." Marcus reached out, taking her hand. "That doesn't matter. You're kind, smart, and talented. My father will see that eventually. Please say yes." Sophia smiled, reassured by his words. "Okay, I'll come." That evening, Marcus brought Sophia home. His father and sister were already seated at the dining table. His father eyed Sophia with a critical gaze, while his sister offered a welcoming smile. "Dad, this is Sophia," Marcus said confidently, pulling out a chair for her. "Sophia?" his father said, his tone polite but cold. "Nice to meet you. Tell me, what do your parents do for a living?" Sophia met his gaze calmly. "My father is a janitor, and my mother works as a storekeeper." The room fell silent. Marcus's father's expression hardened. "A janitor and a storekeeper? Marcus, is this who you think is suitable to marry into this family?" "Dad, stop," Marcus snapped, his voice firm. "Sophia is more than her parents' jobs. She's hard-working, talented, and kind. She's everything I want in a partner." His father's frustration boiled over. "Marcus, this isn't about love. It's about responsibility. The board needs to see you as stable and capable. Marrying someone of her background will ruin their perception of you." Sophia, visibly uncomfortable, stood up. "I understand your concerns, but I didn't come here to impress anyone. I care about Marcus, and I'd never do anything to harm his future." Marcus's sister, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke up. "Dad, you're being unfair. Sophia is exactly the type of person Marcus needs. Someone genuine, not someone like Flora." The mention of Flora made Marcus's father pause. He looked between Sophia and Marcus, as if weighing his options. "I need some time to think," his father said finally, leaving the table. Marcus escorted Sophia outside. "I'm sorry about tonight," he said, feeling defeated. Sophia touched his arm gently. "It's okay, Marcus. I know this is hard for you, but if your father can't accept me, maybe this won't work." "No," Marcus said firmly. "It will. I'll make him see how amazing you are. Just give me some time." Sophia nodded, though doubt flickered in her eyes. As Marcus watched her leave, he knew he had to act fast. Time was running out, and his father wasn't the only obstacle in his path. The next day, Marcus's father arranged a crucial board meeting at the company's headquarters. He instructed Marcus, Flora, and their respective parents to attend, setting the stage for an important decision. As the boardroom filled, tension hung in the air. Executives, shareholders, and key stakeholders sat in neat rows, exchanging whispers about the Lawson family's internal matters. Marcus's father, though visibly weak, sat at the head of the table. He cleared his throat and began, "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Today I want to announce my decision regarding the future leadership of Lawson Enterprises." Gasps rippled through the room as everyone leaned forward. Marcus's father continued, "I plan to hand over the company to my son, Marcus. However, there have been concerns about his eligibility due to his current unmarried status." Flora's parents seized the opportunity, standing up confidently. "That's why Marcus should marry Flora," Flora's father said with a smug grin. "Our families have always worked well together, and a union between our children will only strengthen the company." Marcus shifted uncomfortably, then stood up. "With all due respect, I cannot marry Flora. I don't love her. My heart belongs to someone else. Sophia." The declaration caused a stir in the room. Flora's parents turned red with anger. "This is a disgrace," Flora's father roared. "If your son doesn't marry our daughter, we'll withdraw our 30% shares from this company. Your son will lose his chance to be CEO." Before Marcus's father could respond, Marcus's sister stood up. She was calm but firm. "I can't stay silent anymore," she said, looking directly at Flora's parents. "I overheard your conversations the night you brought Flora to meet Marcus. You plan to use this marriage as a way to gain control of the company once my father's health deteriorates. You never cared about the union, only your personal gain." The room fell silent as the truth sank in. The board members exchanged shocked glances, murmuring amongst themselves. Flora's parents tried to defend themselves, but Marcus's sister continued, "I even recorded your conversation. If anyone doubts me, I have proof." Flora's parents sat down in defeat, realizing their scheme had been exposed. Marcus's father looked around the room. "Given this revelation, it's clear that Flora's family cannot be trusted. I stand by my son's decision to marry for love, not convenience." The board members deliberated for a few moments before one of them spoke. "We have decided that Marcus's sister should act as temporary CEO. This will give Marcus time to learn the ropes and prove himself. Once he is ready and married, he will officially take over the company." The decision was unanimous. Marcus's father turned to his son. "Marcus, go find Sophia. Bring her here so we can show the board what true character and love look like." Marcus nodded and ran out of the room, determined to make things right with Sophia. As Marcus sped out of the company headquarters, his thoughts raced faster than his car. He needed to find Sophia, not only to bring her to the board, but to prove to her how much she meant to him. Her kind, unpretentious nature had captured his heart, and he couldn't bear the thought of losing her. He arrived at the art studio where Sophia often worked on her drawings. Pushing open the door, he found her sitting by the window, sketching quietly. Her focus was unmatched, her pencil gliding over the paper with an artist's precision. "Sophia," Marcus called softly. Startled, she looked up, her expression unreadable. "Marcus, what are you doing here?" "I came to apologize," Marcus began, stepping closer. "I shouldn't have let my father's reaction hurt you. He was wrong to judge you without knowing you. I was wrong for not standing up for you sooner. I love you, Sophia, and I need you to come with me to the board meeting." Sophia set her sketchpad down and folded her arms. "Marcus, your world and mine, they're different. Your father wants you to marry someone from a wealthy family. I'm just a girl who loves to draw. How do I fit into that?" "You fit perfectly," Marcus replied, his voice unwavering. "It's not about money or status, it's about who you are. You're talented, kind, and everything I could ever want in a partner. Please, give me a chance to prove that to you, and to them." Sophia hesitated, her eyes searching his for sincerity. After a long pause, she nodded. "All right, Marcus, I'll come, but only because I want them to see the real me, not what they assume." Marcus smiled, relieved, and together they left for the company. Back at the boardroom, tension still lingered. Flora's parents sat in awkward silence, their earlier arrogance replaced with unease. Marcus's father glanced at the clock, visibly concerned about the time. The door swung open, and Marcus entered with Sophia by his side. The room fell silent as all eyes turned toward them. Sophia, though nervous, held her head high. "This is Sophia," Marcus announced, his voice filled with pride. "She's the woman I love and the one I want to spend my life with. She may not come from a wealthy family, but she's hard-working, honest, and incredibly talented. I believe she embodies the values this company stands for." Sophia stepped forward. "I know I'm not what you expected, but I don't think love or leadership should be determined by wealth. Marcus has shown me that true strength comes from character, not status. I hope you'll give him the chance to prove himself, just as he's given me the courage to be here today." The board members exchanged glances, impressed by her humility and confidence. Marcus's father smiled faintly, a hint of approval in his eyes. One of the board members stood. "Sophia, you've made a compelling case. We'll take this into consideration as we move forward." Flora's father, unable to hide his frustration, muttered something under his breath. However, he knew the tides had turned against him. Later that evening, Marcus and Sophia joined his family for dinner. Marcus's father, after much reflection, looked at Sophia. "I was wrong to judge you. You've shown me today that it's not about where someone comes from, but who they are. I apologize, and I hope you'll accept my blessing." Sophia smiled, tears of relief glistening in her eyes. "Thank you, sir. That means more than you know." As the family laughed and shared stories, Marcus couldn't help but feel a sense of triumph. He had fought for what truly mattered, and won. Please subscribe, like and comment part 2, and tell us where you are watching from if you want to know what happens next. Thank you for watching.